I'm really excited about the field of candidates for the Republican presidential nomination, and I'm excited about Donald Trump, which if you would have asked me about him 2 months ago, I'd say never. He's just an impresario, just a TV celebrity. He's not serious. I'll get back to Trump and why I like what he's doing in a moment, but let me give you some quick thoughts on the rest of the Republican field first. I'm excited by it. I guess part of it is just relief that Obama's disastrous presidency is coming to a close. But the candidates are pretty interesting in their own right. They just seem young and vigorous compared to the tired Democrats. I mean, Hillary Clinton comes across as a tired, old, corrupt robot, all nepotism. Do you really think that if she hadn't been married to Bill Clinton, she'd be anywhere? Can you name a single accomplishment that she has had in her own right? A single success as a senator or as Secretary of State? I can't, and she can't, which is why she's running on this promise.
Don't you someday want to see a woman president of the United States of America?
Yeah, well, I guess a version of that worked for Obama himself. What's so incredible is that Hillary Clinton, with all the money, with all of Bill Clinton's old cronies, just isn't clicking with people. Democrats trudge along to her carefully scripted rallies out of obligation, not out of any enthusiasm. But compare that to the huge, genuine, enthusiastic crowds that are coming out for her chief competitor in the Democrats, Bernie Sanders, the 73-year-old senator from Vermont, who publicly identifies himself as a socialist. Oh, and then there's Joe Biden, who's thinking of throwing his hat in the ring too. He's the vice president now. So you got a bunch of tired, old, white liberals from the Northeast. Yeah. Compare those old leftist fossils with the Republican lineup. It's younger. It's more diverse. It's truly interesting, whether it's Carly Fiorina, the former Silicon Valley CEO, or Ben Carson, the neurosurgeon, or Ted Cruz, or Marco Rubio, or Bobby Jindal. Hang on, candidates who are black, Hispanic, Indian, women, but each one of them is accomplished in their own right. I guess when you're the former CEO of Hewlett-Packard, like Carly Fiorina, you don't need to lean on a, hey, did I mention I'm a woman? I like Scott Walker. He's the governor of Wisconsin who wrestled that state's government sector unions down and beat back a highly funded recall campaign to remove him from office. He turned around that state's economy by taking power away from the unions, and just as important, he gave freedom back to individual union members who are no longer forced to support their union bosses financially. I like governors better than senators precisely because they've had to lead, make executive decisions, take responsibility for entire states. I like that the Democrats already threw everything they had at Scott Walker, already dug up all his skeletons but couldn't land a blow on him. And I like how normal he is compared to that robot Hillary Clinton. But let me talk about Donald Trump. I mean, why not? Everyone else is, right? He's got universal name recognition. That's always a plus. He's brash and vain and narcissistic, sure, but tell me a politician who isn't. Trump is now leading some polls for the Republican nomination, but it's not all because of his name recognition. It's also because of his style. It's so refreshing to hear someone cheer for the United States and talk about it being great again and winning again, not just militarily, but also in international trade and treaties. For nearly 7 years, America has got used to a scolding president who always puts America down and seems to side with the world's enemies. Donald Trump has too much self-regard to do that. Obama is certainly in love with himself too. He's the first selfie president. But Obama doesn't seem to love America and want America to win as much as he loves himself and wants himself to win. I think that's Trump's essential appeal to the American dream, that it's okay to be a success and to get rich, and it ain't bragging if it's true. Trump says that Obama doesn't know how to negotiate a deal. And looking at John Kerry giving everything away to the Iranians, do you doubt it's true? Trump says he wants all Americans to get rich. Do you doubt that's true? As opposed to Obama saying, if you got rich, well, you know.
If you got a business, that you didn't build that. Somebody else made that happen.
I don't know if Donald Trump can go all the way. The Republican nomination is a quirky process that starts in states like Iowa and New Hampshire, where local appeal matters and where obscure policy issues can be disproportionately important. But putting America back high in the saddle again, like Reagan did, probably sounds pretty refreshing to Americans right now, especially on subjects that the political insiders, the Washington establishment, even the Republican Party establishment don't want to talk about, like illegal immigration. It's a huge issue in the U.S. Obama has unilaterally granted amnesty to illegal immigrants without even a vote in Congress. He just did it, just opened up the borders, just ordered police to stand down. As Trump says, these are not the cream of the crop of immigrants. In many cases, they're criminal gangs, drug gangs from Mexico.
When Mexico sends its people, they're not sending their best. They're not sending you. They're not sending you. They're sending people that have lots of problems, and they're bringing those problems with us. They're bringing drugs, they're bringing crime, they're rapists, and some, I assume, are good people.
Is Trump right? Is he onto something? Well, there's some truth to it. Illegal immigration drives down wages for law-abiding citizens, especially the poor. It drives up taxes for everyone else, since illegals take government services but don't pay into them. And then there's the self-respect of enforcing your national border and laws. Trump is talking about what millions of Americans want to talk about, but that the party elites and media elites don't want to talk about. That's a big reason Trump's at number one. And it's the reason why so many snooty political and media insiders are denouncing Trump so viciously. It reminds me in a way of Rob Ford. All the fancy people hated Rob Ford, largely for aesthetic reasons. Look how fat he is, look at what a klutz he is. For classist reasons. Oh, Ford's not one of us, he didn't go to the right schools or clubs. But mainly because Rob Ford spoke for a huge swath of severely normal people who hated high taxes and the gravy train of lobbyists and insiders in Toronto. Now, Donald Trump doesn't have many of Rob Ford's personal problems, and though he's a billionaire, the media still looks down on him for being classless or tasteless. He's too gaudy, too showy, which is weird because the media was never against John Kerry's massive wealth as a candidate, though it was all money his wife inherited from her first husband, a Republican. They're not against Hillary Clinton's wealth, though much of that was earned through dubious deals and speaking gigs with foreign government, gifts making to her family foundation. No, the media hates Donald Trump because he's not from their incestuous Washington club. He doesn't agree to their rules of what you can and can't talk about. He has a direct connection to the people, so the media hate him for that. Donald Trump despises the media, and he doesn't hide it. He mocks them. He calls them out in speeches. Here's a great example. He was on his own private jet being interviewed by the Washington Post. That's fancy. But then he got up and interrupted that interview to go over and watch TV on the plane, another interview of himself with Fox News, before going back to the Washington Post reporter, obviously, who wrote about this rudeness, shocked that a candidate isn't bowing down to the Washington Post. Donald Trump despises the media, and he lets them know. Now, Hillary Clinton despises the media too, but the media love her all the more for it. They hate Trump for it because they disagree with him. Donald Trump is too noisy, too brash, too self-loving, too gaudy for the media, so they say. But they love those qualities in other politicians. The real reason the media hates Donald Trump is that he isn't from their tribe. And worst of all, people who support him aren't from their tribe. They want America to be back on top. They want a winner who will help America win again. They want America to be great, not to be a great apologizer. Every time a pundit badmouths Donald Trump, ask yourself, is it really his style that they hate? Or is it that he wants to turn America around that they hate? Or when a journalist attacks Trump, are they really just attacking the millions of Americans who support Trump? Having watched the media war against Rob Ford, I think I know the answer. For TheRebel.media, I'm Ezra Levant.